So a lot of you guys were asking me after my last video what build was I running during this clip and some other clips in my last video where I talk about how Heartland could be huge for the Division franchise on my main channel. And I realized I never really even put it out. Like, I haven't really put out PvP builds in a long time. I think the last one I did do was the Conflict build where I used Spotter, and I think you guys saw that build. But there hasn't been a lot of PvP builds on this channel just because I really don't enjoy, to be honest, PvP that much. But there are builds that can help you perform a lot better than what you might be using right now. So this could be one of them. So I decided, let me drop this build for you guys so that way you guys can enjoy it. You guys can hopefully become better and at least have something to have somewhat of a fighting chance when playing PvP out there with some of the other big boys. So if you guys are ready to do clips like this, well, I don't know if you'll do clips like this, but if you're ready to have fun, well, this is going to be the build for you. So let's get into the build. So this build all starts with the FAMAS, which is probably one of the better ARs for PvP in the game for the fact of it has a high rate of fire and it has really good damage. And once you put that 20 round mag on it, it's 50 total bullets you can get out. Now this one has assault rifle, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover. Now it has in sync on there, so hitting an enemy grants 15% skill damage for 5 seconds, and then using the skill damaging enemy grants 15% weapon damage. Now remember, this is doubled, so we can get up to an additional 30% weapon damage as long as we're getting some type of skill damage or we're proccing our shield, which is using a skilled, and we'll get it for those 5 seconds. So that's a big increase of damage, and you can pretty much drop enemies that fast if you use your shield correctly, because once you proc your shield, you're able to unload a clip, and that extra 30% weapon damage makes a huge difference. Now for the secondary, you can run whatever you want. I have the Eagle Bird for show. The main weapon you guys really want to try to get is the FAMAS. If you can't get this, maybe you could try like the Police M4. Something like that will probably be better for you if you guys don't have a FAMAS with these types of roles. So for the mask, we are running with a Grupo Sombra mask. Now this gives us that 15% critical hit damage. We have armor rolled on here. We have 6% critical hit chance. We have 12% critical hit damage and a critical hit damage mod. Now you could run the Coyote mask, but if you did do this, you need to make sure that you guys are running something else on a chest piece, a blue, because the Coyote mask always rolls red. Now I will tell you, if you fight anybody further than 15 meters, this is actually going to do less damage than your Grupo Sombra mask, which gives you that 15% critical hit damage. Now, if you fight anybody within those 15 meters, then you're going to actually gain 10% extra critical hit damage versus this build. So that's the big difference between the two masks if you run it this way. For the chest, we are running the Fenrir's chest for that 10% assault rifle damage. We have weapon damage right here. We have critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and critical hit damage mod. And we have Unbreakable. Typically, this is what you see on a lot of PvP builds. Unbreakable, when your armor is depleted, it repairs 95% of your armor. Remember, this does change in PvP though. If you look at it, it's only 50% of your armor. So just remember that, a little bit difference between PvE and PvP. We look at our holster. We are running a 2-piece Walker and Harris because we do want to get that bonus of 5% damage to armor. So we have 5% weapon damage and we have 5% damage to armor. We have armor rolled on here and we have critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Now this damage to armor is actually going to pair up really nice with our gloves, and you'll see in just a second. For our knee pads, we have the meta knee pads, the Overlord knee pads, the name knee pads. These have 170,000 armor. We have 8% damage to targets out of cover, and then we have that 12% critical hit damage. So that 8% damage to targets out of cover, you guys know that is probably one of the meta pieces to put on most of your PvP builds. For the gloves, we have our contractor gloves, the name Petra gloves, and if you look, we get that 170,000 armor. We have 8% damage to armor, plus we have the 5% damage to armor on the holster, right? Because we have the 2-piece Walker and Harris. And what does that do? Well, that gives us 10% damage to armor versus that 8%, which is actually really good, especially in PvP. And then we have that 12% critical hit damage. And then for the backpack, I went a little bit different route. I actually like this backpack versus running a different talent, and I'll explain why. So this is our 2-piece, right? So this is what unlocks the damage to armor. We have weapon damage, critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and a critical hit chance mod, and that's to get us closer to that 60 cap of critical hit chance. Now, I went with Concussion. Headshots increase total weapon damage by 10% for 1.5 seconds. Now, 5 seconds with the marksman rifle. So we're not going to be running a marksman rifle with this build. We're going to be running an AR. So that weapon damage will be increased every time we're hitting a headshot by 10%. Now, I will tell you, if you get a headshot kill, well, your total weapon damage is increased by 15% for 10 seconds. Now, what you need to remember though is if you guys are playing in a group setting where there's more than just 2 guys shooting at you or 3 guys shooting at you, a lot of people like running this right here. So I'll show you. They like running Adrenaline Rush, but you can actually get the perfect Adrenaline Rush from the Walker and Harris Matador bag. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to give you 12% bonus armor for every enemy that's near you. So that's a big chunk of armor right there, right? We're getting 36% extra bonus armor. And if you have a build that has 1.5 million armor, it's a huge chunk of bonus armor that you can get. And this can stack up to 3 times. The cooldown on that is 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, you guys can continue to get that bonus armor. So a lot of people really like running this. I typically, I don't know, I like running Concussion because I like getting those headshots, and if I can land them, I can drop them pretty quick. It's usually not an issue. It's usually an issue when they do get that full 36% extra armor and you're fighting with Concussion and they're hitting just as hard as you. You can really see the difference, and most of the time they can get you right there. But I do like Concussion, and that's what I was running in the video. So if you guys want to run this build the way I was running it, well, Concussion is, but you can also swap that out for Adrenaline Rush or Perfect Adrenaline Rush. It's really up to you on how you guys want to do that. Let's check out the stats, right? So we are running 55% critical hit chance, 156% critical hit damage, 75% headshot damage, 13% armor damage, and we get the 18% damage to targets out of cover, plus 18% health damage. So a lot of multiplicative damage that we are putting on those enemies, and that's why we break armor pretty quick, and you saw how fast enemies were dropping. Now, for the skills, it's really up to you how you guys want to run it. I personally like running either the decoy drone, the decoy. I either run the striker drone, and then I run the shield that allows you to use the AR, so the Crusader shield. Up to you. Really up to you what skills you guys want to use. But typically, that's what I run with this build. 55% crit chance, 156 crit damage, and 75% headshot damage. And then I run the firewall specialization. So yeah, that's the build right there, guys. If you guys want to see more build videos, definitely check me out on this channel and on the main channel. I'll put a link to both of those in the description. Hopefully you guys are following all my channels anyway. If you guys want to see me live, you guys can always catch me on Twitch. That is twitch.tv/nothingbuskills. A great place to interact with me, ask me questions, and just chit chat. And it's a great place to really talk to me. So we're gonna wrap up this video here, guys. Appreciate the support, appreciate the love. But until the next Division 2 video, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.